Hi everyone, welcome to our second sessions of Pelatihan Penggunaan Bahasa Inggris di SMA Muhammadiyah 3 Yogyakarta with Miss Ika Wahyu Lestari and me, Puput Arfiandhani of Prodi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. In this session, we are going to learn about two topics. First one, about how to write a feature story, and then the second one, we are going to talk about the language focus, which is past tense and present tense. Now, let's get started with our first topic, which is how to write a feature story. Writing a feature story. First thing first, you need to keep in mind that a good feature story is very much like a good storytelling. Therefore, the next time you start writing your own feature story, you may want to think about it as a way of telling about someone who is awesome and inspiring, and you may want to make your audiences know how amazing the person you're writing on. So there are several elements that you may want to keep in mind when writing a feature story so that it turns out to be a good story. First one, instead of when or where the events take place, you may instead focusing on who this person is, as well as talking about why or how this person is amazing. So focus more on what makes this person amazing. For example, you can talk about what this person does, or the achievement that they've done, or simply the characters that make this person adorable. Next element is that you may want to make sure that your feature story use less formal and more descriptive languages. So by more descriptive languages, it means that you may want to describe the person in details, including the physical appearance or the characters, the habits that they're doing. So make sure that you use a lot of descriptive languages. This is important as to ensure that that the readers or your audiences can picture this person and understand how amazing this person is. Next one, you may also want to include facts. First, facts about this person for sure. The next one, facts surrounding or on how this person relates to the bigger events or the bigger issues. For example, if you take a look at the examples on the story of Bentar that I've shared to you last week, you will see that the authors wrote about Bentar not only about how amazing that he saves cats, but also about how what he's been doing actually relate to the bigger issues of preventing animal abuse. So in the writing, the author also talks about the issues and statistics on animal abuse. So you may want to take a look at the examples and kind of doing the kind of same thing. So for example, if you decide to write about, for example, one of the neighbor who cleans up the whole environment, you may want to talk about the bigger issues of the global warming, or even on how trashing may lead to bigger issues. The next one, another important element is using quotes. So you may also want to find quotations that is interesting and more importantly capture and represent the person that you're writing on. The final one, you may want to make sure that your story is well organized. So shortly after this, we're going to talk about the organizational structure of a feature story. First one, a feature story consists of lead. So lead is the part when you want to catch your reader's attention How you do this, you may want to start talking about the person that you're talking about, or you may also want to use quotations, relevant quotations about them, and saying that these quotations represent this person, for example. Next one, after the lead, you may want to talk about the body. So what's so called the body basically includes the arguments or the stories of what makes this person's interesting. So for example, you want to make it in an argument way or argument like paragraphs. So you may want to talk about the points of what makes this person's amazing. For example, you talk about ibu kantin at your school. So you may want to say that what makes this ibu kantin amazing is because first she perhaps often distributes the leftovers of her food to homeless people around the schools. And then the second one is how friendly and kind your ibu kantin is. So you may want to make 2 paragraphs talking about each of the points that are previously mentioned. And then after that, after you're done talking about what makes the presence amazing, you may want to write a concluding paragraph called the tale. So basically the tale includes interesting or other related items, as well as you may want to conclude it by relating on how the act of the persons actually relate to bigger issues. So for example, you talked about your mother. So if your mother is a hard worker, so you may want to talk about how what your mother has been doing is actually an example of the facts that women can do more and achieve more, even if they've got their hands full. So that is how you will relate the personal story of this person into the bigger issues that they are actually representing. And then the final one, we've come to this checklist of a feature story. When you're writing your own feature story, you may want to make sure that first your lead is attention getting, meaning that when you're reading your own lead, you feel like as an audience, okay, I really want to read more about this person. And then the second one, you may want to include facts, the details of these persons, as well as the statistics surrounding bigger issues. So like what I've previously mentioned, for example, you're talking about your mother and how hard she works for the family. So you may want to talk about the statistics of women's work and how they actually also contributes a lot to the society. And then the next one that you're going to put in your feature story is the quotations. So you may want to make sure that you include relevant quotations, be it from the novels that you're reading or the song lyrics of your favorite, anything relevant for your story. Next one, you also want to make sure that you use descriptive language, meaning that the description about the person hopefully will be able to help the readers or your audiences to picture these persons. And the final one, don't forget to include sources, especially when you mention about statistics or another facts that you've taken outside from internet or other sources. You may want to mention them just to make sure that you acknowledge their importance. Now let's see one of the example. Here we see the example of Fikri. So here you will see that the author Reka has used the quotations as well as including several details that she's taken from BNPB. So that is the examples of things that you may want to include in your own feature story. Good luck.